Hello. Welcome to Virtual Orchestra. So, this video is going to be for the violinist and violist. I don't know which video is played first, but there's another video. That was my phone. I'll turn that off. Hold on. There's another video for the cellist and the bassist. Yeah. So, we went over briefly how to care for our bow and how to hold our bow and use our bow, but I'm going to go into more detail today on how to use the bow. And if you guys get through both videos today, then next class you guys will be permitted to work on the bow. Just a reminder of how the rest of the week will work. Jack will tune the basses, Advanced Orchestra will tune the cellos, violas will be tuned by Penelope, and Aliana will tune the violinist. After you guys warm up with your bows, just playing like D major scale, you want to actually warm up with open strings first, and I'll get to that in a second. After you warm up, Penelope is going to put a metronome on the TV, and she's going to conduct the class to work on timing in D major scale with using your bow. So just a reminder, we never touch the bow hairs. In fact, you could probably see right here, see that grossness? That's because when I play songs that are longer, my thumb sometimes goes like wee and starts touching that. So some of you're like, I don't have oils in my finger. All of us have oils in our finger, and that's a product from oils in the finger. Most people's bows are going to look like that on the bottom of it, but try to avoid that if you can. Be better than me. So violinists and violists, your bow hold is exactly the same. The only difference with your D major scale is that where the strings you're bowing on is different, but the finger pattern's the same. I have my violin, so I will be showing you guys on the violin, and then violas, you're just going to have to use 100% of your brain to figure out how to translate that for the viola. So with your bow hold, let me move this handy dandy mic. You're going to put your thumb in. By the way, you guys are just watching the video. I know at first I was thinking for you guys to do this at the same time, but that would have been chaotic. So if you want to watch this at home to practice along, you're more than welcome. Nobody's stopping you from doing that. You're going to put your thumb in here. It is best to bend your thumb, but for now, if you just put your thumb in there, I'm happy, I promise. The next thing is, remember, it's like killing a llama. Some of you put your thumb like this. That's nasty. We don't hold our bow. It's not like a thumbs up. We don't hold our bow like that. We put our thumb in here. These fingers need to cross over the thumb. See, little guy peeking through. The pointer finger lays on its side, and the pinky is on top. That is the best bow hold. Nobody can tell me otherwise. That is it. This is it, Chief. You need to hold your bow like that. You can practice in class, just don't irritate your teacher. So let's say you have a pencil. You just are going to practice holding your bow like that. Obviously not writing like that because they'll think something's wrong with you, but you can definitely practice holding your bow like that. All right, one more time. Thumb in, fingers down. These fingers are over and this finger's over. It's not like this. You don't have to hold it so delicately. These fingers are over and your pinky is on top. My thumb, whoa, I don't know the best angle. Wow, that's the best angle, I guess. I'm using my camera on my computer. That's where your thumb is. And so now you guys are like, we get it. Show us what to do next. So let me show you what to do next. One thing I want you guys to notice is my fingernails. See how beautifully short they are? Your fingernails should look like this too. You're a musician. You're not allowed to have long, beautiful nails. In fact, if you have a nail biting habit, high five. Just kidding. Don't bite your nails, but definitely cut your nails. Keep them short. See how the meat of my finger, that sounds disgusting, but the meat of my finger is past my nail. That's how you optimize your playing. You have to have nasty hands. All right. So, wow, be careful, Mike. I'm going to check that I can hold my instrument with my head. It's on my shoulder. It's not right here. I know some of the beginners want to be able to see their fingers, so they put their instrument in front of them. Yeah, that's obviously easier to see your hand. But fun fact, your eyes move to the side, and you need to keep your hand on your shoulder. So your head, I don't know what I said. You need to keep your violin or viola on your shoulder and holding it like this. Work with your shoulder rest until that's comfortable, because if you're holding it with your hand, you're messing up. You should be able to hold your instrument with your head without feeling uncomfortable. Like right now, I'm slightly uncomfortable, so I'm going to move that over a little bit. Much better. All right, so I have my perfect bow hold. This is the bridge, and this is the fingerboard, the black part. Your bow needs to be between the bridge and the fingerboard. One thing I want you to work on is starting all the way at the frog. This part down here where my fingers are is the frog. This is the tip of your bow. And all you need to do is practice open bows. So my speed was consistent because I'm a pro. Just kidding. I wasn't like speeding up and slowing down. If you do, you're going to get nasty sounds like this. Beautiful. So, to avoid that masterpiece, you actually want to use the same bow pressure the whole time and pull your bow at the same speed the whole time. Makes sense, right? Next thing you want to make sure you're doing is that your bow is hitting one string at a time. I highly suggest you start with a string that's between two other strings, because if I start like on the G string, that's really easy to hit one like for violins, that's really easy to hit one string at a time because it's not surrounded by another string. It's the lowest string. Violas, this is your G string right here, not this one. You guys know that though. Look at the whiteboard if you forget. So again, I'm just going to practice bowing. From the frog to the tip of my bow. If you notice, because you guys are super observant, I am not moving this part of my arm. I'm not doing this. 90% of you are going to bow like that for the first month, and you're going to hear me say, stop moving your upper arm, until you finally get it. But we're going to try for all of us to do this on our first try. Keep this chunker still and move this part of your arm and your wrist only. Now, some of you are probably like, oh, she moved her upper arm. I'm moving it a little bit to get to the very bottom of my bow, but you can tell that's not my primary source of leverage. I'm mostly using my wrist and my forearm. So, after you are comfortable with bowing on the D string, I would go to the A string, starting at the frog to the tip of your bow, watching like your bridge to make sure you're hitting one string and that you're getting from the bottom to the very tip of your bow. You need to get a feeling of that. To get to different strings, your elbow either rises or it lowers. So that's the only time my upper arm moves, is to cross strings. Other than that, my upper arm freezes. And again, I'm using my forearm and my wrist to do most of that work. Okay, lastly, we talked about our fingers being cut and the tip of the meat being past our fingernail. It's because violinists and violists, you need to be on the very tips of your finger when you're playing, because if you're not, you're going to get sounds like that. And even though that wasn't nasty, that's when we get to something called double stops, which we're not doing right now. For now, you need to be at the tip of your finger. And it helps you land on one string. So I didn't want to run over my dog. You guys probably haven't seen him. Let me move this guy about right here so you guys can see the tip. I am on the tip of my finger. That was out of tune. I am not playing like this. It's hard to control that, and some of you are like, ooh, what's that pretty vibrato? You cannot do that if you're not on the tips of your fingers. Also, keep that wrist out. You guys already know to do that. We don't want any pancake hands. You got to keep that wrist out. All right, so when you're used to bowing and you're playing with your forearm and using a straight bow, your bow should stay straight between the bridge. It should not go diagonal at all. Ask your stand partner to check you on that. You're going to begin playing D major scale. I don't want to see this. That's really nasty. I stayed at the bottom of my bow. The bottom of my bow gives really pretty crunch sounds, but we don't want that crunch sound in D major scale. We want to play normal. So we're going to use our entire bow. A little crunch is fine, but I should not hear it the whole time. I'm going to play really slow because I'm working on intonation, which means playing in tune, and I'm working on lining up all of my fingers. I want to see a down bow and an up bow for every single note. So that was ascending. You might want to practice ascending a few times. Ascending is going up the scale. Now we're going to go down the scale, starting with that high D on the A string, which is 3 fingers for the violinists and violas. Make sure you know the notes in the scale. Don't just play the scale. Make sure you know it's D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D, and then know it backwards. D, C sharp, B, A, G, F sharp, E, D. So we've already talked about this. There's a hard part in descending because you have to go from open A to putting all your fingers down on the D string. Pro tip, do not put one finger down at a time when you're going to the D string. You want to put all your fingers down. So don't do this. That took about 10 years to get to G. I want to hear open A and then all your fingers down. Lead with your third finger. If your third finger needs to land first, and then you could plop those other fingers behind or just put all 3 fingers down. But lead with that third finger. Violinists and violists, cellists and bassists, you're probably like, wait, our 4th finger is G. That's correct. This finger pattern is different for you. So open A. I led with my 3rd finger. So going down sounds like descending D major scale, starting on D on the A string. Intonation was slightly off, but we're going to ignore that. So that's basically it. Using your whole bow. Don't even play as fast as I just played. You need to play with a very slow bow. The more you practice with using your entire bow, don't use like a tiny bow, use your entire bow. The more you practice doing that, the more fluent you will get and the better you will get because you'll have more control over your bow. So I want to see bows playing from the bottom all the way to the tip of your bow using good finger pressure. If you don't use finger pressure, it'll sound like nasty, right? Finger pressure. Much better. That's basically it, I want to say. Don't forget your wrist out, pulling a straight bow by not moving your upper arm, playing on your fingertips, using your entire bow, using a consistent bow, so don't speed up and slow down. You want to practice that a lot first. And if I were you, I would practice with a metronome. You could literally go on Google, type in metronome, and then set it to 60. In fact, I'll do that for you now so you know how it sounds. METRONOME. This thing that says 100 BPM pops up. I want it on 60 BPM. I'm going to press play. So with that, it would be so I repeated the high note, the high D by accident, but you guys know not to do that. Just go up the A string and then stop on, when you get to D, turn right back around. Don't repeat that high D. Alright, next is the cello video. Hopefully you guys watch this one first. The cello video will be shorter because a lot of the information is exactly the same. Alright, goodbye. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Just kidding. Don't do that. I'll hunt you down. I'll hack you. Alright, bye.